not in a debate, but in the stillness of a night that held more truth than any book I'd ever read. What I saw in that moment, the way that family stood to pray, the peace on their faces despite the chaos surrounding them, shattered every lie I had been fed. It wasn't just about religion. It was about presence. It was about resilience that came not from anger, but from surrender. Not surrender to oppression, but to something greater. I watched them pray in the dark, the only light coming from the stars above, and I realized they had something I didn't. Something I had never understood. Something I had never even searched for. Certainty. It was the kind of certainty that doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't fade when bombs fall, or when food runs out, or when the world turns its back. It's a certainty rooted in faith, not blind faith, but faith born from lived struggle, from knowing that there is purpose even in pain, that no act of injustice goes unseen by the one who sees all. I saw it in the way they stood, the way they bowed, the way they whispered Allahu Akbar with hearts that had seen more loss than most of us could endure. And still, they called God great. And for the first time, I understood what that meant. It wasn't about fear or submission in the way I had always thought. It was about freedom, real freedom, the kind that can't be stolen by soldiers or borders or bombs, the kind that lives in your soul, untouched by the noise of this world. Islam in that moment was not just a religion, it was a lifeline, a source of dignity, a compass pointing to hope when all signs say there should be none. I had never seen such love wrapped in such simplicity. The way they shared food, the way they cared for one another, the way they smiled despite it all. It wasn't performative, it wasn't for show, it was genuine. It was Islam in action. Mercy, generosity, gratitude, sincerity, and all of it flowing from a place of trust that no matter how hard life got, God was near. I started to see the Quran not as a book of rules, but as a guide for survival, for beauty, for justice. I saw prayer not as a task, but as a conversation. I saw fasting not as punishment, but as discipline, a reminder of what matters. Everything I thought was restrictive suddenly looked like freedom, because it was based on truth, on alignment, on peace, not as an absence of struggle, but as strength within it. Islam in that moment meant home, a place the soul returns to when the world grows cold. It meant identity, not one forced by culture or society, but chosen in the deepest parts of the heart. It meant balance between struggle and ease, between this world and the next. And it meant justice, not just in law, but in how you treat others, how you treat yourself, how you stand even when the world tries to knock you down. I didn't become Muslim in that moment, but something inside me did. A seed was planted, a light turned on, and I knew I could never go back to the way I saw the world before, because now I had seen Islam not just with my eyes, but with my heart. There's a difference between watching and seeing. Watching is passive. It's what you do when you flip through channels or scroll through headlines. It's what lets you witness tragedy from a safe distance with the comfort of turning it off when it gets too heavy. But seeing, really seeing, that takes courage, that takes heart. That means stepping into someone else's pain, not to consume it, but to understand it, to feel it, to be moved by it in a way that makes silence no longer an option. Too many people are watching what's happening to Palestine and calling it awareness. But awareness without action is just another form of apathy. It's not enough to say that's sad or that's unfortunate and then go on living untouched, because what's happening over there isn't just a political issue, it's a human one. It's a test of our collective morality. And failing to speak, failing to act, failing to even care is choosing a side whether you realize it or not. I've seen the truth with my own eyes. I've looked into the faces of mothers who'd buried their sons. I've heard the quiet strength in the voices of fathers who still teach their children to love in a land that taught them to fight. And I've felt the weight of a story that's been twisted, buried, denied for far too long. So this is a call not just to hear, but to listen, not just to look, but to see the people, see their humanity, see beyond the headlines, beyond the labels, beyond the convenient lies, because once you truly see, you can't unsee. You can't stay comfortable in your silence. You can't keep pretending it's not your concern. You don't have to be Palestinian to stand for Palestine. You just have to be human. You just have to care enough to let the truth in. And when you do, when you allow yourself to feel it, it will change you. It will wake something up inside you, something brave, something honest, something necessary. This isn't just about them. It's about us. About who we choose to be in a world that's begging us to care. So don't just watch, see, and once you do,